Hi everyone, this is Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and we are doing April favorites. I cannot believe we are already going into March, but hey, here we are, flying on through the year. That's what we're doing. So let's just dive right on in, shall we? So I have a couple of unconventional favorites this month, and I love unconventional favorites from time to time. The first one being Ancestry.com. So I will be doing a blog post at some point in the very near future. It may be a separate video on my Facebook, or maybe not under my Abundant Life Tarot, but maybe under my Kimberly Jo Cooley channel, which has no videos, but it may go there. But I got my DNA checked. I was very curious to know my background. For the longest time, it had been a mystery, as it is for many African Americans. And so I thought it would be interesting to see what my ancestry is compared to what has been told to us for years and decades and what have you by our ancestors. So it was quite interesting. There were some things that weren't a surprise, and there were some things that were quite a surprise. For example, like for generations, we were told on both sides of my family, my dad and my mom's side, that there was a strong presence of Native American blood. And when the test came back, it came back like 1% Native American. That's like way less than what was described to me as a child, what was described to my relatives before. So that was interesting to me, and it made me a little sad. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But then what was kind of surprising was, okay, so what wasn't surprising, let me back up. What wasn't surprising, obviously, is that I do have a lot of African blood in my genetics, obviously. It worked out to about 65%. So it was Benin, Togo, 20%, Cameroon, Congo, 13%, Ivory Coast, Ghana, 11%, African Southeastern Bantu, 10%, Senegal, 7%, and Nigeria, 4%. And yeah, Native American, 1%. Polynesia, less than 1%. Mali, less than 1%. South Asia, less than 1%. And then what was surprising was there. So apparently I have Great Britain, or so my, I guess, Caucasian roots, is 16%. Ireland, Scotland, Wales, 5%. Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain, Portugal, France, I think Italy is in there. That's 4%. And like I said, Scandinavia is 4%. European Jewish is 2%. So it worked out to about like 30% of Caucasian descent. So a couple of things were running through my mind, which is that I think the painful part of it is that it was so difficult for my ancestors to even probably contemplate interracial going-ons, because my family is from the American South. And so I think it was easier to identify with another suppressed group of people, Native Americans, to think of that intermixing than to think of what could have possibly been, which is possibly our oppressors who may have been raping the women in my family lineage. I mean, I could try to romanticize it now and say, well, no, it's a good, strong possibility that perhaps the reason why I have Caucasian blood is because of romantic notions. But I don't want to, sugarcoat what it is, you know, I don't know. But the reality is there is a sad reality. So that was kind of interesting to me. So but what was kind of cool was that, like, my mom, who is very fair skinned, and she always was just like, no, I'm black. I'm, you know, African American. Well, clearly something was going on. I think her dad, there's pictures. She doesn't really know her father. And that's why I'll be doing a blog post separate in another, you know, series on this. But she doesn't really know her father. And so he's had another family with someone, which was revealed in the Ancestry.com. I got to see all of this. And so it's interesting because there's going to be brothers and sisters popping up on there that she's going to get to see, that I get to show her. But she loves everything English and Great Britain, and she always has. She watches like tons of like great like British shows, and like she would probably, like her soul home would probably be London. Like, she's just so in love with it. So when I briefly told her about the results, it tickled her because, you know, she loves everything British, like everything musicians, like everything. Like, it's pretty funny to me because nobody else in my family is really that crazy over it. So, I don't know. It was just quite interesting. So I've been kind of fanatically combing through records, and now I've scrounged up some extra money to get my husband's DNA checked and then my mom's, because this is going to get interesting, folks. So that's my first unconventional favorite. So sorry I had to go off on a little tangent, but it's like really consuming my time, like tarot consumes my time. So yeah, that's been kind of interesting. And so you have to understand, like, my parents are from Mississippi, America. And the town that my mother is from, like on Wikipedia, it literally has one sentence that represents this whole little area where my mother is from. It's that rural, it's that tiny, but it was also very scary, like during the, you know, during the Reconstruction period, post-slavery, during Jim Crow time, during the times when my parents were little, into the time that they left for California in the 70s. So my parents grew up during a time that was kind of interesting. So I'm excited to see what we can piece together. Slavery definitely, you know, kiboshed what we could be able to really recover about our history or how we got here. I know based on what I can see, the earliest remnants on my father's side is like the 1700s presence in America. And then for my mother's side so far, the early 1800s. But I don't know. You don't know. And so it also is sad to me that it's like all of the African countries that I'm from, or that my blood is from, it's all the Western, you know, coast, pretty much, all along the slave, you know, like the path where many slaves were taken. So it was a little heavy, but it's quite interesting. And I just wanted to know. And it is kind of cool to know, because here I am thinking I'm all like, oh, I'm Native American. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not at all. Not at all. 1%. We'll get another test with another service to see what comes up later, but whatever. So yeah, that's that. The other non-tarot thing I have is my drum, and it's back here. You can probably see it. I don't want to take down everything. I need to detach my mic to get it. Okay. I know, I'm dropping stuff. All right. All right. So, anyways. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I don't know, how many of you have had your ancestry all checked and everything? it is quite interesting and eye-opening, especially for those of us who really just didn't have a thorough clue of what might be going on in your bloodline. So I'm just curious to see what you all think and if you found it as fascinating as I do. And of course, this is making another appearance. I'm sad because I don't know if I'm going to be going on my retreat this year, which makes me so sad. I'm going to Mexico later this year. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to be selfish with my family budget and try to be going to retreats and to Mexico with my girlfriends. Can't be doing all that selfishness. I mean, I could try, but that wouldn't be very nice. So I'm going to have like retreat moments in my backyard, in my home, quick little weekend, little jaunt somewhere. Luckily, I live in California, so there's plenty of places that I could go very locally to kind of feel like I'm getting away. So we'll see. But I love my drum. I'm still loving it. It's still therapeutic for me. I still pull it out because if not, my family who helped give me my drum would have a problem with it because they were like, we want to make sure we hear you using your drum. So they're going to hear me using my drum. All right. So that's enough of my unconventional happenings for the month of April. Let's talk decks. As I sip on my Ginger Ninja on a Saturday night, my ginger hard cider. All right, so let's start with the Oracle decks. First up, I have to turn down my music, is my Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. Okay, so love this deck. Still love this deck. I'm still using it. As a matter of fact, you guys, I am doing my monthly love and life readings with this little deck, as opposed to using like a tarot as my main focus deck for the readings, for my astrological monthly readings. I'm using my Dear Heart Oracle, and I'm using this little deck. It's, you know how I liken it to? I liken this setup with the Dear Heart and the Mildred Payne, with like having like a intimate acoustic, me playing the acoustic guitar in a little bar or a little jazz club or something like that. And it's very intimate, but it goes deep. You know, the music hits you a little deeper than if you were in a full concert with the tarot and a couple of oracles and I'm a card slinger. That's what I like to do. I like to boom, 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 have lots of cards speaking to one another. Like for me, that's the art and the magic of it. But there's something to be said with the quiet Mildred Payne acoustic kind of energy, if you will. I don't know. That's what I'm liking it to. And before I start flipping through the cards or whatnot, a couple of things I'm going to have to I've used it so much that the black edging that I did with the Sharpie is starting to fade. That's a testament to how much I love it so. But a couple of things about what's been going on with the Mildred Payne or with the Deviant Moon company is the creator has come out or is coming out with an oracle deck, a large size oracle deck that's supposed to be an extension, if you will. It's not like this, but it's an extension of the story of the Mildred Payne story. But here's the thing. I don't plan on getting that. Here's the antidote card. I don't plan on getting that deck because here's the stick. Because I have enough large-handed decks, and I am really drawn to little mini decks now, and like poker-sized decks and tarot-sized decks. I will tolerate large decks, but it has to be a pretty damn special deck for me to tolerate a large deck. So I have to look and see first with the new Oracle that may be coming out to see if it's something I'm going to resonate with before I bring it into my home. So I have not pre-ordered it. And I was very happy to hear, oh, storm. I was very happy to hear that Deviant Moon was so gracious to say that I think it's the harp card. The harp card will be available to those of us who have collected all the other Mildred Payne, deck and expansion decks, even without having to purchase this new Oracle, although the harp card would be with the new Oracle automatically. But they would, I believe, provide it for free at some point in the future. And I'm thrilled about that because that says a lot to me. Okay, you're throwing it in as extra and you are recognizing us who may just want to just deal with Mildred Payne. And that's where I am right now. I just want to deal with the Mildred Payne. The readings with the Mildred Payne, oh my God. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I'm trying like the Dickens to find a video and to find pictures. I save like my poor Amazon cloud is like, it's about to explode. I need to delete some stuff, but I have a video where the Mildred Payne kind of predicted about this whole like Stormy Daniels thing with the stripper situation with like Donald Trump and whatnot. And it kind of freaked me out a little. And so it's little stuff like that, like it'll predict. I'm like, oh, like kind of, it's a little trippy. It keeps it real, but it's still kind of gentle. And it's fun to read with. It's goddess guide messages, which I like. It's in kind with what the images are. This reminds me of a Lenormand, this deck. And it's just so much fun to play with. I just love it. And it reads like a tarot. Like you can ask some serious questions of this deck and you will get some very good answers and some direction. Fish. Doesn't look like much on the images, but that's kind of how like Lenormand is. Cat. So do you guys have this deck? What are your thoughts? I'm not going to go through the whole deck because I believe I have done, although at some point I may be due to do a follow-up like deck in focus once I get like my hands on any other extra cards that may be coming from Deviant Moon. And then I'll like do a revisit with the deck in focus on my Mildred Payne. So there you go. So there's that. This, I'm afraid, is going to be probably a longer faves, only because, and I probably will mention in the beginning, if you want to bypass and get straight to the deck stuff and bypass my Ancestry stuff, that's fine. Because like I said, I'll be going more into that. That's like an ongoing journey thing that I will be posting more so on my Abundant Life Initiative website, which is my blog, my original blog. And maybe doing a video series about it. So next up, we're going to talk about my Dear Heart Oracle. Love this deck. So originally with the Dear Heart, I was keeping it separate. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep the first edition, using it just for my clients and readings for others. And I'm going to use the second edition for myself. But I didn't like that. That didn't resonate with me because I don't really do my decks like that. I don't have, a copy for myself and a copy for this person or for other people. I don't typically do that. I don't look at cards in that way. I use cards when I'm called to like tools, like how a doctor or a hairstylist or anyone or a mechanic uses their tools. Whatever the job calls for whomever, for myself, for anyone else. I'm not like, I have to have two decks, one for and I'm not knocking anyone by the way. It's to each his own. I love everyone's style. That if it works for you, it works for you. Just for me, I don't want a bunch of extra decks. But I was so fortunate to get an extra deck, and I was going to get one anyway because I love this damn deck that much. I don't want to be without. And the second edition comes with 3 bonus cards. So I was like, well, it's kind of different. But because she so kindly kept the sizes the same, just the backs are different, which I don't mind at all. I just decided to combine the decks because I like I think the cards are like 32. Well, the original deck was, I believe, and then now it's what, 3 additional. I can't even add them. It's late tonight, by the way. So anyways, because it's the same, I thought I would combine the decks and use them together. And if 2 cards happen to jump out and they're the same, that means that that message is amplified, is how I decided to use it. And that has been so right on in what I'm supposed to use this deck for. I'm not supposed to have 2 different decks trying to use it. It felt weird to me. Have you ever had that where it feels like you're working with a deck, you're trying something new and it just feels off? Well, that's how I was feeling when I was having the 2. And now that they're together, so amazing. And sometimes I'll even be like, oh, this is speaking to like an old vibration or a vibration from the past. And this is more, you know, the newer, let's see. The second edition is a present day kind of, or future energy, if you will. So love this deck. And it's the second edition will be coming out at some point. I encourage you to check this deck out. It is highly intuitive. It's easy to shuffle. I love independent decks because oftentimes they will make the deck tarot size, which my medium-sized woman hands, almost large woman hands, appreciates tarot size. Sorry. And I like the way it shuffles. So that's that. I don't know. Check out, if you want to see how this works, how I work with it, my monthly astrological readings are featuring this deck and the Mildred Payne together. And you'll see, and there is one reading, I think it may be Libras, where it's 2 cleanses that pop or jump. And that was so awesome. I was able to, my intuition was able just to run with that. It was so deep and dope. What can I say? What else? Okay. Oh, I'm going to do a video on this one, so I'm not going to go into depth. I just decided tonight that I need to do a video on this because I don't know how much you guys know about this little deck or system, but it's really cool and I want to go a little bit in depth with it. So I'll probably do a deck and focus on it. Yay! I just thought about that tonight. It's called Karma Cards and it is by Monte Farber. And Monte Farber, I believe, what is the name of that deck? It is I think it's the Enchanted Tarot. It's like going through, it's like 25th year edition, or might even be older than that. I don't know. I think it's from the 90s. So, anyways, he created that deck, but he also created this. And it's really cool. So I was in the market for some astrological cards. I still haven't committed to a good astro deck as I'm being like really picky. I don't know. I'm just really picky and I haven't found one that I really resonated with. But what did come up in the search, my search results, was the Karma cards. It says, amazing fun to use astrological cards to read your future. Now, read the Amazon comments, folks, because many of them will say some people don't like it, you know, for whatever reason. Some people caught the guy a little full of himself. And I don't know if he's full of himself. I didn't even really read the guidebook. You know, you don't even really need to read the guidebook, but more on that in the deck and focus and when I kind of flip through some of the cards here. It's kind of difficult too to flip through the cards because it is a system, but I'll just kind of give you a taste. But anyways, long story short, I ended up with this deck. I ordered it. Amazon shipped it because we had a bunch of stuff that needed to be shipped to us on a Sunday. So it came on a Sunday. I ordered it like Saturday night, came Sunday, got it, and I was hooked. Playing with it all the time, consulting with it all the time. Whenever I don't feel like doing like a full-on tarot reading for myself, or if I have a client who's just like, I just kind of want to like perk them up. They had a, you know, they didn't even really ask a quick question, or maybe they have a quick question. I just consult this. That's all I need. It's really amazing. So it has a guidebook, which is helpful. It is. Because it goes into depth about the zodiac signs. It goes into depth about the planets. It describes how to use the karma cards. The signs of the zodiac, it really breaks it down. It breaks it down on the houses, and it gives some further reading, using the karma cards. It's really amazing. So I wouldn't just say, oh, toss the book, don't use the book. The book has some great information. However, I don't really use it so much for the purpose. Sometimes I do consult the book for a reading for myself, but most of the time you don't need to. Inside, it has this insert, and then the deck comes in this right here. Oh, I'm going to put you on my drum. And just pop that out. I think it's 12 cards each. So it's divided by the house, the planets. Excuse me. So it's like 12 planet cards. 12 signs cards. 12 houses. And so you are to do the reading in such a way where it's, you know, either, I think it's the houses, planets, and signs, or what have you. And if you read the messages, right, across, I'll show you. Let me see. It's kind of, I don't want to. I almost don't want to go too far into it because it may take a little time to show you guys, and I want to show it while we're sitting down. So it's planets, signs, houses. So we want the planets, signs, houses. So we'll take something for planets. Signs and houses. And so you shuffle each set, and then you get your card. And so they're reversible. And so each message across will be answering your question that you have posed. And actually for me, it's about maybe almost all of the messages relate to my question, but there will be two like sentences that really stick out and answer my question time and time again. It's kind of eerie. Let's see. Let's just make sure it's ready for it. Let's see. Planets. Okay. Planet, signs, houses. Okay. So planets, signs, houses. Okay, so here is a sentence that it would come up with. It says, the maturity that brings methods for the healing power of spiritual values, caution regarding the analyzing of long-range thinking or travel, limits imposed resulting from the perfectionism of what is to be shared. And so some of them are nonsensical, and they'll talk about it in the book. When it's nonsensical, obviously it doesn't apply. And then they have the sentences across. And so when I do my deck and focus, we will actually pose a question. So that way it'll be like more applicable. Right now, it's not being like really applicable because I haven't really posed the question. But when you pose the question and then answer it, it is so crazy accurate and so much fun to play with. And it's not your typical oracle. It is not your typical tarot or any kind of deck. It's just its own little thing. So the reason why people were saying he was a little pompous was sometimes he would say in his book, like, this is basically, I'm just going to say, this is like the best, dopest system you're going to have that predicts everything. You're just going to be blown away. And people were, I guess, put off by that. But whatever. He can be full of himself. That's his business. So, I mean, I didn't really get that vibe. But on the other hand, maybe he was a little bit. Who knows? So, next up, let's look at tarot. I have been loving my triple goddess, clearly, because the box is all banged up. I'm going to have to get another method of housing my lovely little deck soon. I've been trying to keep my decks in their respective boxes. That's how I've been storing them lately, and that's how I like to store them right now. But, hey, I might have to put it back in its little bag like I originally had it. This is a Los Scarabeo deck. I love the borderlessness of it all. This deck too, at some point maybe I will be doing, I don't know if I've ever done a video on this one. I think I talk about it a lot in my favorites, but if I haven't done a video, I will do a video like a deck in focus. It's a very crone-esque deck. Here is the King of Swords, and there's a woman represented as the King of Swords. I love that image. Here's the Knight of Pentacles. Here's the backs. Typical tarot, Los Scarabeo size. Eight of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. It's an interesting Knight of Cups. Six of Cups. Seven of Cups. For my speed readings that I'm doing for a month or so, where it's 3 minute or less readings, I've been using this deck as one of my tarot decks. I always can trust the readings that come, the messages that come through. It just speaks to me. Here is the King of Wands. It has a Los Scarabeo. Three of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. Oh wait, you know what? That was the Page of Cups. I apologize. I was like, that didn't look like. I said, that's a weird Knight of Cups. And that's right, because it's not the Knight of Cups. Sorry, guys. Hold on. There it is. I was like, that doesn't look right. Okay, here we go. It's the Page of Cups. The little, see that little thing right here? I'll get as close as I can. See the little, it looked like a knight, but it's not. It's actually, but when I looked at the little person, that looked like a page, like what it is. But I was like, like a knight in the little key here. See, they describe what each suit, suit is, so you can mix heads or tails of it because it has women as both kings and queens. So they do differentiate by the crown size. Here's the Queen of Wands. I love this Five of Cups. Oh, that is just so gorgeous to me. Here's one of the two full cards. in this deck. I don't know if we're going to come across the other one. Here, they do have men depicted in this deck. Here's the Knight of Swords, which I like. I like that it's mostly a crone deck, but that there's still men in the deck, so that works. 10 of Swords. 9 of Swords. Look at this Hierophant, you all. Look at that. So I am going to, at some point, if I haven't done so, I am going to do a deck and focus, but I'm thinking the first deck and focus that's going to be next is the Karma cards, because I might even invite a couple of you guys, because I like the whole inviting people to throw in some cards and then I answer with the tarot reading. So perhaps I might have like 1 or 2 people throw in some questions that we can ask the Karma cards, and then that'll really make it like, whoa. Okay, so we keep a lookout for that. Keep a lookout for that. So here is the Triple Goddess Tarot. And I will, if I haven't, we'll be looking at that again. Then I have the Vivid Journey. I just did an unboxing video, so I'm not going to go into depth here about this. You can check that video out if you want more on this deck. But I'm loving it. It is so beautiful. Oh, it is a Llewellyn deck. It's got the magnetic. Look at that. It's so amazing. It's so fun to read with, the guidebook. Look at this. Just deliciousness. Some people don't like glossy pages, and I can understand why. But this is decadence right here, and I love it. I'm just going to love it. And then we have a little ribbon that can pull the deck out. And I love it. It's also, borderless. And I really think this makes for a great beginner's deck. I really do. I stand behind that. There's some things that are a little bit I don't agree with, like the way the knights are depicted, King of Cups. But small issues. 7 of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. I was going to see if I could find 2 of Pentacles. King of Swords. Here's the Page of Cups. I like the pages. I do like the pages. Let's see. Here's a Chariot. Oh, come on. Give me a Knight. Of course, when you want something, it doesn't pop up. All of these cards. Okay, here's Knight of Pentacles, which is fine. You see how the horse is like right there and standing there? And that makes sense for the Knight of Pentacles. But then, oh, I should have had these set aside. But I thought, oh, it'll be easy. Okay, here's a Knight of... Here's all the Knights. Okay. Well, I don't see the Knight of Wands here, but here's the Knight of Cups. I would have liked to have seen, like, this knight on the horse. because it's almost just like the Pentacles. And the Pentacles, you expect almost like, okay, a slow moving situation with this horse. But with the Cups, maybe not so much. And then certainly not with the Swords. I would expect this knight to be on the horse galloping. But again, small issues. It doesn't, for me, detract at all from using this deck, and it plays really nicely with my Dear Heart Oracle. And that's what I wondered about in my unboxing video with this deck, if it would play nicely with it, because that's kind of why I bought it, was to go with my Dear Heart Oracle, and it goes nicely, thankfully so. Some honorable mentions, some things that I will be trying to incorporate next month. Well, before I move on to those decks, I'm just going to, well, do an honorable mention on a book. And that's the Holistic Tarot by Benebell. When I love this book. It's such a great reference book. I mean, I pop in there, you know, from time to time. And also when I first got it, and it was a great teacher. It was a great teacher of the tarot. The breadth of this book is just amazing. I did a review, or not so much a review, but a video showing my tarot book collection. And this, I believe, is discussed at length in that video. So if you want more on that, check that video out. It does discuss other books, but it does discuss this one at length on what it offers. But like, for example, I wanted to know more about timing with decks, you know, or with cards, you know, what's the standard? And I kind of always check different books and different systems on timing of like cards or what have you. And so I looked at this one, and it just gives such an easy chart, and she's just so amazing. Yet this is like the Bible, and I don't know, she's amazing. And I just had to do a shout out for this lovely reference book. I love to see the Holistic Tarot in other YouTuber videos, because it's like, yeah, you know, and I know, we know, like, that's the deck, that's what you want. I'm just going to mention this stone too. This is black, gold sheen black obsidian. And love this. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. Been using, or kind of just holding this when I'm doing readings, and it grounds me, yet I feel protected, and I just needed that extra nurturing as I'm navigating friends who are going through grief, and myself who is going through some challenging times with grief. I'm not like, I'm super depressed, but you know, you get down from time to time. So with that being said, this, as well as my rose quartz, this is smoothed, tumbled rose quartz. I have a rough piece, so it's up there on my shelf. I'm not going to grab it, but I have a lot of rose quartz, tons of it, but I'm grateful for it because I have a few pieces at work, and I have a few pieces in my little altar up in my room and here on my desk. You just need a little extra love and protection. But what I was going to mention before I wrap up the video is some decks that I plan on incorporating next month in May. And that is going to be my Delta Enduring Tarot, although my Numinous Tarot is supposed to be arriving sometime soon. So if that comes, I'm probably going to be distracted with that. I'm also going to be distracted with my Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Payne. I mean, I got so many decks to be preoccupied with, but I've done a video on this, couple of videos on the Delta Enduring. So I'm not going to go into that because this wasn't one I really used much this month, but it is one that I'm planning on using next month. Another one I plan on exploring more is the Lunar Nomad Oracle gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous deck. OMG. There's the guidebook. Nice chunky guidebook, beautifully written. Shaheen Miro, the deck creator, did a wonderful job. I just adore it. And it is large. It is large and in charge. But like I said, if it's a gorgeous deck and it's worth it, I'll tolerate the largeness. That's the back. Love that little keyhole with the moon peeking through. And it is a Lenormand deck with some bonus cards. A very large Lenormand deck. But I love it. So I'll be looking more into this deck next month. So you may most likely, hopefully, see these in my favorites. We'll see if they make my favorites. Letter. Just achingly beautiful. My God. Large, though. Heart. So I'm not going to go into that. At some point, I don't know if I don't know if I did an unboxing of this, because I think I'm going to be doing a special video involving this deck down the line. And then finally, last but not least, that I will be working with is my Dreams of Gaia. I did use this a couple of times this month in April, and it didn't make my favorites because I only used it a couple of, like 2 times. But the times that I used it, I needed the wisdom that was held in this deck. And I just find it's just a beautiful, comforting big sister. And I love it. Love, love, love it. It's gorgeous. It's Blue Angel guidebook. Amazing. I don't know if I've done a video on this. Probably at some point I will. The joys of having multiple decks is I can give you all videos as I feel the need. But yeah, I'm going to be working with this loveliness more so next month. So yeah, there you have it. That's my favorites for April. I didn't promise that it was going to be short this time. It would have been short had I omitted some other parts, but no, I had to tell you about all my favorites. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. What's been going on with you in this past April? Much love, you all. So many blessings to you. Stay abundantly blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.